A scientist from the Aeronautics and Space Agency, or NASA, was forced to lose his prestigious position because he converted to Islam after seeing the miracle of the night of Laylatul Qadr. This spiritual experience was felt by Karner, a former NASA official who was fired not long after converting to Islam. So what is the story like when you receive God's guidance? Quoted from the YouTube show Friends of Learning, Karner is an expert in the fields of astronomy and astrophysics. He has worked at NASA for more than 10 years. I'm very proud of my work because I feel I can contribute to science and human progress. I'm also very interested in amazing celestial phenomena, such as stars, planets, galaxies, and so on, he said. Karner admitted that one of the celestial phenomena he likes the most is the night of Laylatul Qadr. Muslims believe it is the better night of 1,000 months and occurs during Ramadan. At that time, I saw something very strange in the sky. I saw that the sky had no stars, but it looked bright. I also felt the air was very cool and comfortable, he said. Karner felt something was different about that night. I was curious what was going on. I then looked up what happened that night. I found that every day there are 10 stars and 20,000 meteors that fall into the Earth's atmosphere, except that night, he said. According to him, that night there were no stars or meteors falling. I also discovered that that night occurred on one of the odd nights in the last 10 days of Ramadan. I wondered what that night had to do with the month of Ramadan, said Karner. Intrigued, he then used a sophisticated telescope that could capture high-resolution images of the sky. I expected to see something interesting and valuable from that night, but what I saw on my telescope screen shocked and amazed me, he said. I saw a very bright and beautiful light coming from the direction of the Kaaba, which is located in Mecca. The light looked different from the stars or other planets. The light looked like a laser beam connecting the Kaaba to the sky, he said. At first, Karner couldn't believe what he saw. I thought this was a technical error or a hallucination. I tried resetting my telescope and rechecking the data I got, but the results were the same. The light was still there and had not changed. I felt confused and curious. I wanted to know what happened and what the light meant. I then found out about the night of Laylatul Qadr and the Kaaba from Islamic sources, he continued. Karner then met one of his colleagues who was a Muslim to find the answer to his curiosity. My co-worker explained that that night was Laylatul Qadr night, a very noble and blessed night for Muslims. My co-worker also read verses from the Quran related to Laylatul Qadr night, he explained. Karner couldn't hide his amazement when he heard a series of explanations in the holy verses of the Quran. I was surprised. It turns out that the Quran has mentioned the night of Laylatul Qadr since 14 centuries ago. While science only discovered it recently, I felt surprised and amazed by the truth of the Quran and the greatness of Allah. Since then, Karner realized that the Quran is a holy book that contains scientific facts that no one can dispute. I also realized that Islam is a religion that is in accordance with human nature and can provide peace and happiness to anyone who wants to follow it. Without hesitation, Karner then decided to take the Shahada, become a convert and convert to Islam. I decided to convert to Islam and say the Shahada. I feel very happy and relieved. I feel I have found my true purpose in life. I feel I have received guidance and mercy from Allah, he said. However, this decision cost him his position at the space agency. NASA is not happy with my decision. They consider me a traitor and a threat. They also hid the scientific facts that I discovered from the world, he said. According to Karner, they don't want people to know about the miracle of the night of Laylatul Qadr and the truth of Islam. But I have no regrets. I don't care about position or worldly wealth. I only care about truth and faith. I want to spread the message of Islam to people. I just want to worship Allah and hope for His blessing. I then became interested in learning more about Islam. I discovered that Islam is a religion that is in accordance with reason and knowledge. I also discovered that Islam is like a miracle, he added.